Hey, Travis kiddos. Happy Wednesday and happy April. We're into a new month. Great time to talk about calendar since we're working on measuring time with calendar and clocks in math. So go ahead and look at the calendar, see what is coming up this month. Maybe there are some birthdays in your family. Maybe there are some holidays that your family celebrates. Check out how many days there are in the month. Check out when certain dates fall, so when the number falls on a which day of the week. And you can do any kind of experiments like I experimented today, which is fun. And if you watched the reading video already, you saw I am continuing my theme of triathlon shirts with my Ironman 70.3 shirt from last summer in Santa Rosa. Um, let's go over the science just really quick with the science, and then we'll get into math for the day. So science, if you'd like to do that, is pages 27 and 28 in the workbook. So either on Twig Science online, or if you have the book at home, you can use that. It's a pre-exploration, getting ready for our next driving question that will start tomorrow, which is talking about, we're going to explore adult and young animals, so the parents and babies. So if you want to go ahead and think about what animal adults and children or younger animals are like, you can do those pages in your science workbook. It is lesson 11 if you are using Twig Science on ConnectEd. So for math, I want to go over some fractions work a little bit, and then we're working on telling time to the half hour today. So I have a couple shapes here. I have some circles and some squares. They might not be perfect, but they're okay for now. So in first grade, we talk about fractioning and partitioning in halves and quarters. So I'm going to show some examples of that here. You have access to some fraction work on Think Central and your math manipulatives, your virtual manipulatives. So if you want to check those out, you're welcome to do that. If you need help, check out the Launchpad video from yesterday or Monday to see how to get there. So I'm going to split these circles up. So this one I'm going to split in half the best I can. So a half is making two parts. Now when we're working on fractions right now, we're going to talk about equivalent fractions, so equal parts. So I made two equal parts there. Now if I want to shade one half of it, I'm trying to use different colors today, so hopefully this shows up. I'm going to color in one half, or one side, one of the two parts. So I have shaded one half of the circle, one of the two parts. Now I'm going to split it in half, so straight down the middle, and then half again by going across the middle the other way. So now I have made how many parts? 4. So now I've split it into fourths or quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, as equal as I can make them. So 4 equal parts. If I want to shade 1/4 or 1/4, same thing. I can shade, doesn't matter which one. I could do this one down here. Would be the same as if I had shaded any of the others. So this is 1/4 or 1/4 of that circle. Let's try another way. I'm going to split it into fourths again. So splitting it in half one way, splitting it in half the other way. Again, I'm not perfect, so they're not exactly equal, but the best I can do to represent it. Now here, I'm going to show you if I do 1/4 or 1/4, and another quarter. Now I have 2 quarters shaded, and you might notice it looks the same as that. So if you want to get really tricky, you could say 2/4 is the same as 1/2. They're the same amount shaded there, but I'm going to go a step further and keep shading. So I'm going to shade in one more fourth. So how much is shaded now in this circle? This is 3/4. 3 of the 4 parts are shaded in. So that is 3/4. So we have 1/2, we have 1/4, and we have 3/4. I can do the same thing with the squares. So let me try that. I'm going to go ahead and split them up in the same, sort of the same way. I'm going to split my square in half, and then I'm going to split it into quarters, and then I'm going to come back to the last one. So half of my square here, 2 equal parts, 4 equal parts. So halves and quarters or fourths, either one. So I could do the same thing. I can shade in 1/2 of my square. So I have shaded in 1/2 or one of the 2 parts. Over here, I could shade in 1/4 or one of the squares, one of the parts of the square here. So 1/4 or 1/4. Now I'm going to show you another way to split the square. Can you think of a way to split the square evenly a different direction? So instead of straight down and straight across, is there any other way we could do it? Sorry, I'm erasing it a little bit. I could go from one corner to another corner. Did I still make 2 equal halves? I did. Now instead of rectangles, I have made 2 equal triangle halves. So I could still shade in one of these and shade in half of the square. But I could get a little trickier. Now I have 4 equal parts. But instead of 4 squares like I made here, I have 4 triangles. And I could do the same thing. I could still shade in 2, 1, 3, or all of them. I could even shade in 4/4, shade in the whole thing. But I'm going to do 3 for now. So I've shaded in 3/4 of this last square, or 3/4, either way to say it. So that's a little bit of review on fractions and splitting up shapes evenly. We can come back to that. That's a tough one to understand, so we can keep talking about that another time, and I'll get into tougher questions with those. But just a basic overview for now. Now, telling time to the half hour. Now, we told time to the hour yesterday, and telling time to the half hour is much trickier. So if you've got to the hour, great, go ahead and move on to the half hour. If you need some more practice with the hour, go ahead and work on that because it's very important to understand that first. We don't need to rush too much here. We can always come back to time. We can review those later on too. So when we tell time to the hour, the minute hand was pointing up to the 12, right? 0 minutes in the hour. If I wanted to tell time to the half hour, just like I showed you, half of the circle was split down the middle. So halfway around is going to be pointing straight down. And halfway around, we go this way, is 30 minutes. There are 60 minutes in an hour, so half of that is 30. 6 tens, half of that would be 3 tens, or 30, right? So, and you can tell on my little Judy clock here, each big number is a 5-minute increment. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 down at the 6. You also notice that the hour hand is now between the 12 and the 1. It's not staying right up at the 12 anymore. It moved. I didn't even have to do it. So I'm going to go back 12. It's staying at the 12. Watch the red hand. As I move this, it slowly moves over. So it's going to be halfway between this hour and the next hour because we're halfway through the whole rotation of the clock or the whole hour. So 12:30 is half past 12. So halfway to the next hour, which would be, whoops, other way, 1 o'clock. So then if I wanted to go to the next half hour, I would go to 1:30. So the blue hand points down, the minute hand points down when we're doing the half hour or half past. And you notice that the red hand now is between the 1 and the 2. It's half past 1 or 1:30. And if I keep going, I have 2 o'clock or half past 2, 2:30. So remember, it's really, this is the tricky part of it, is remembering that halfway to the next number. This isn't 3:30 because we haven't gotten to the 3 yet. The red hand or the hour hand has not gotten there yet. So it's still 2 is the hour, and 30 minutes have passed. So if I was going to show that digitally, I would, ooh, this doesn't erase as well. That's okay, we can work with it. So if I was going to show it digitally, I have 2:30 on my clock here now, which my dad always joked was dentist time. Tooth hurdy, 2:30. So that was a silly dad joke that I love. That would be 2 is the hour, and it's 30 minutes past. So 2:30, or half past 2. That's another way to write that. So you can go ahead and explore on Think Central on the virtual manipulatives and see how the clock works there. It's a great way to help you learn what the time looks like on the analog clock. Remember, this one's the analog, and then this one is the digital. So you can use that on on Think Central. Great resource for you. And if you're ready for it, you can do the workbook pages. This is practice 3. So if you're using the textbook on Think Central, it's lesson 3. Okay, so telling time to the hour. This is chapter 15, lesson 3. So telling time to the half hour, it's all similar pages to telling time to the hour. So you're matching the words. So the analog clock to the words, half past, and then the hour number. So you notice the minute hands, the longer ones, are always going to be pointing to the 6 on these pages. Then you're going to color the clock faces that show the correct time, just like we did for time to the hour. So once it goes all the way across, if it matches and it's the correct time, color in the analog clock face. If it doesn't match, don't color it in. Then you're going to tell what time these kids are doing things by looking at the analog clock. You can either write the word half past and the number, or if you want to try writing it digitally, you can, or do both. Up to you. Okay, so you have a few pages of that, and then you have matching, again, the analog to the digital on the half hour, and then writing the, you look at the analog, write the digital time, and write the words. So plenty of work to do there. Please practice and play around with those clocks, or just try telling time at home is another great way to do it. Look at your clocks at home, see what time it is. These workbook pages are 121 to 127. So have fun with that. Explore as much as you need to with time, and take your time doing it and learning it. It's a tough concept, so no need to rush it. Have fun and happy learning.